Jack, 250 games. I know this is something that players say that they reflect on at the end of their careers. But what if you spoken to the 18-year-old or the 9-year-old? How proud would he be of you to make it to this milestone?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I suppose. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, so it will be something I'll look back on. But yeah, I didn't think in my wildest dreams I'd get to this point in my career, and it's been a great journey, and I've had some fantastic memories along the way, and hopefully a few more coming through. So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, and I remember when I first started, a few of the old guys, Drew Petrie and Boomer Harvey and Michael Fredo, said to me, really enjoy your footy career because it goes very, very quickly. And I just remember sitting there laughing at those blokes saying, oh, I've got 10, 15 years, this will be great. And then, yeah, this is my 14th year, and a truer word has never been spoken by those guys. It does go very quick.
When you're a top 10 pick, I think people probably just think they just lock you in for 200 or 250 and they don't really think about it too much. But how much hard work goes into it to get to this point for you?
Oh, so much. I mean, there's so many people that have helped contribute to my career as well. I'm very fortunate to be in the position I am today to, one, represent our great footy club as captain, but two, to be able to play 250 games at the highest level. It was a pretty cool experience to be able to live that out as a dream. And I've had coaches, plenty of coaches, senior coaches, assistant coaches, development coaches over the journey, fitness guys, strength and conditioning guys, family members who have had impacts on my career. And without that support and guidance throughout that career, there's no way that any player, let alone myself, can get to a milestone. So it's plenty of thank yous out there.
What's got you out of bed each morning to get to this point?
I suppose representing a lot of people, like my family, I get an enormous amount of satisfaction performing on the weekend, knowing that my family are there to watch. Especially now being a dad, the daughter, having her come to games is a pretty cool experience. But also just to help, bring our footy club back to where it should be. My motivation right now has probably changed a little bit over the last couple of years. To help guide our younger core players through this transition phase and get our club back to where it belongs as quick as we possibly can. So it's funny how over your career you go from different ways of motivating yourself. The early part you just hell bent on getting a game, and once you get a game you want to continue to play senior footy, and once you've established your team, yourself in the team, you want to start to win, and after that your motivation change a little bit from year to year. So it's been a cool ride.
Is part of that taking on new roles? We've seen you kind of billeted around in all positions lately.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely part of the journey, and at this point in my career I'm fortunate that I have got the ability to play a few different positions and add some experience in a few different lines. Played a fair bit of footy down back over the last 18 months and then back up forward again over the last few weeks. So I've been on record to say wherever I can help the team, I'm more than willing to play there, and I'll let the coaches decide on that, and my job is to help go out there on the weekend and do what I can to help the team win.
How does the desire to sort of, when you guys were contending, differ to the desire you have now to get the club back on sort of good footy?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you're contending and you're playing in final series and back-to-back final series, I mean, that's the pinnacle of playing footy. That's why you play. And when I first started, we were down towards the bottom end of the ladder, so that build was a hell of a journey to get to that point where we were in back-to-back prelim finals, I think in 2014 and 15, and unfortunately we couldn't go further than those prelim finals, but that experience in itself was something I'll never forget, and for the guys who are still here that experienced that, that's why you play footy. So for me, to have that experience and then move forward with this group at the moment, I want them guys to experience that as quick as possible, because it is the pinnacle of why we play footy.
Is that something like when you're going through tough times like this, you are reiterating to this young group that, yeah, I've done this before, I've been through this sort of before?
Absolutely. I mean, there's some tough times, no doubt, when you're going through what we're going through at the moment, and it takes sometimes some thick skin to get through it, but I know the core of our group and what we stand for and what we want to achieve, and led by our coach, who's been fantastic throughout this time, setting the right direction, setting the standards, and that's our job as senior players, setting the right example for these young guys, and these young guys are just so eager to learn, and they just want to be good really quickly, which is awesome to see. And no doubt there's tough times ahead, and potentially we'll get a few more wins this year, and we can't wait to do that, but it's more about how we go about it and building that foundation for our future success right now, and I think that's a really important part of my job and our leaders at the footy club.
Jack, the news around Sam Fisher, Nick Rewett last night said he was concerned that players could be slipping through the cracks. Do you think that you guys are getting enough education and enough guidance for life after footy?
It's an interesting question. I haven't been through the transition yet to life after football, but it's probably coming very quickly for me. But in saying that, I know the AFLPA do a great job. They've put a hell of a lot of time and effort into the resources at the moment to help players with their exit out of footy. And there's obviously guys who do slip through the cracks, which is sad to see, and no one wants to see things that are going on at the moment with certain players, and it's very, very tough to witness that. But in saying that, I also think that there is some really, really, really good resources through the AFLPA and the AFL and through Clubland as well. I mean, our club, as soon as a player finishes their career here, they're in touch with the club over the next 12, 18, 24 months to make sure that their transition is as smooth as possible. So our footy club takes pride in that. Their job's not done once the player is either retired or delisted. They want to make sure that they're going to be successful in whatever their next phase is. So, I mean, there's always more that can be done, but it's a pretty tough sort of transition for everyone to go through, and each person's going to handle it a bit differently.
Is it also incumbent on the players to make sure that they're doing enough to get the right education? Because I know that from the outside there might not be a whole lot of sympathy from fans and supporters that look at you guys and know that you're on big bucks.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, there is a lot of education at the moment around life after footy and what you can do to help set yourself up. But our core focus right now is our job, is to play footy. And this is full time and it's high pressure and it's an elite environment. And it's a tough job. It's a great job. I love our job, and all of our players love our job. And we're very fortunate to be here. But it is high pressure and a really tough environment. And I think there is an element of balance with that as well that helps if you can focus on something outside of football that actually helps your football internally. And our club, again, because I've never been anywhere else, I've only been at the Kangas, has really been big on making sure that we're engaged off the field. If you do that, then balance is going to be a key component of being able to get away from footy. And I know that's been a bit of a challenge throughout the industry, not only for players but for staff as well, to try and create that balance. But the AFLPA, again, have been doing plenty of work in this area to try and promote that balance in players' lives and trying to get themselves away from the club as much as they can to help equal that out. And we get plenty of education on that, but it does come down to the player and what they want to engage in and how they can engage in that the best they can. So not everyone's going to be fully engaged off field. There's guys who are doing full-time uni and full-time work, well, not full-time, but part-time work outside of the club hours, and that's not for everyone because, again, our primary role is to do our job, and that's play footy.
Jack, you were forced to defend the Forza player unrest a few weeks ago, and a similar report popped up last night, if you're aware of it. But when you guys are clearly a unified playing group and you already have a spoken about this, does it sort of amuse you that this keeps coming up, or is it a matter of is it poor on-field results? It's going to keep coming up until the results.
Yeah, to me personally, it's a little bit amusing because it was amusing 2 or 3 weeks ago when it popped up, and then again I was just told before that it did pop up again last night. I wasn't aware of that until just before. So I mean, I suppose that's the industry we're in. It might be a slow news week, so there's probably not much happening. So they're looking for something, but I understand that comes with the territory. When we won 1 out of 10 games, fingers start to get pointed. So that's on us as players and coaches and everyone to make sure that our performances on the weekend start to improve. And I actually thought on the weekend, I know we got beaten by 45 points, but the way we went about our footy on the weekend was an improvement. It's something we can build on as well because Melbourne are the benchmark. They're a bloody good side, and we stuck with them for 3 and a bit quarters. So we take the positives out of that, and not to say we're happy with losing the game. That's not the case because we all want to win and we want to win now. But there's some positives to take out of that for this weekend's game against St Kilda.
So, Jack, I get the feeling from listening to you speak that the way that David Noble coaches, that resonates with you and you like him as a coach, but do you accept that maybe not everyone feels the same?
No, I love Nobes as a coach, and he's created one of the safest environments at our footy club over the last 18 months. There's that much learning going on here inside the 4 walls, and it's really impressive to see that considering our win-loss ratio as well. Like, talk about pressurised environments, like in the fishbowl of footy world in Melbourne, I think we've won 5 games in the last year and a half. We all still love turning up to work here at the moment. So Nobes has done a great job there. And I get the sentiment from the outside of the way he goes about it, but the way, for me, he's been coaching, he's been fantastic. He's extracting plenty out of our group. He's providing plenty of opportunities for our players to learn. And we're learning plenty of lessons now. They're going to hold us in really good stead in the next 12, 18, 24 months, and we're going to be climbing up that ladder.
Does it concern you that the conversation comes up again 2 or 3 weeks later? Like, it has to come from somewhere.
It does, yeah. I mean, it does come up 2 or 3 weeks later, as I just heard. But I can only talk on my experiences, and they're all been positive here. So I've got no concerns whatsoever with the way Noves is going about it. He's going about it well. I mean, our performances, I think, are starting to improve. We're working our absolute tails off from the coaches all the way through to the players. And I've got no doubt that the win-loss column will reflect that in the second half of the year.
Is the result, I know you say you get to beat by 40 on the weekend, but going with Melbourne that long, does it give you confidence that another win is around the corner? Can you feel another win being around the corner soon?
Absolutely. We've got full belief in our system. And the way we go about it, the disappointing part probably for the first part of the year is the fact we haven't been executing it as well as we know we can. But I think on the weekend we did execute it pretty well for 3 and a half quarters against the best opposition in the league. So another tough opponent this week in St Kilda are playing some bloody good footy. So we're actually really excited by the challenge to play the best teams because we can really see where we're at. And if we can do it against the best teams, then the teams around us as well we can really challenge. So that's our mindset going into this week. We're just hell-bent on getting after them, really. It's exciting to pin ourselves against another really good side, and we can't wait to get out there Sunday afternoon.
Cam, so still be a root, do you think, in the future?
I think he will. He loves it in Melbourne and loves it at the club, and he's a great person, a great personality around the footy club, has a great time, and I mean his footy's speaking for itself at the moment as well. He's getting on the scoreboard and having some big impact on games. So yeah, I've got no doubt that I think he'll be a root.
What would you say to North fans? Only 13,000 on the weekend. You're a proud club. You're obviously confident in the direction you're going. What would you say to the fans who want to do that?
Yeah, I know it's hard at the moment with the win-loss record, but we urge all of our fans and members to turn up to the games, to partake in our journey. The destination is great because of the journey that you've been on, and for us, we're in the middle of our journey. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but there's no doubt that the passion for our supporters and our footy club is unbelievable. So for them to turn up will be awesome. I don't think it's our home game this week, is it? It's not our home game this week, but we've got plenty of home games in the second half of the year. So come along, bring your family. It's going to be big improvement, I think, coming up in the second half of the year. So get along and see it, and you won't be disappointed. Do I sell that all right?